Well, I think Jack has a lot of unique traits. You know, one of them is this: he's courageous, he's fearless, he will tackle anything. You know, I think when he became the intermediary between the French and the Britons in completing the channel, that obviously speaks to his nature.
They are largely people who were schooled in this idea that one has to give back to its community. And Jack clearly epitomizes that in terms of his extraordinary and broad participation in the life of philanthropy across the state.
He's not only interested in the work that he does, but he's interested in things like education. He's been involved with the University of Idaho. He's been involved with Idaho State University. He's been involved with College of Idaho on the board of directors. And there was never been a time in my life when I've called on Jack to help out in something that he has turned me down.
And I really do view engineering as much art as it is science, and his background in architecture made him a genius in this sort of work. And he had instinct and vision that's very unusual in the world we work in.
I think that's an extraordinary talent that Jack has, that most successful entrepreneurs have. It's not only recognizing the idea, it's how you bring it together and how you get the people who work for you to pursue that with the same commitment that you have in mind.
If you think about engineering and construction and you think about it on a global basis, you send individuals from a place like Boise, Idaho to remote places around the world to take on very large, heavy civil construction projects, sometimes projects that will involve more than $1 billion worth of construction in place. Now, for most people, if they can work on a project like that once in their lifetime, it would be a hallmark achievement for them. In Jack Lemley's case, I can think of 3 such projects where he was providing the leadership on those projects and delivered them successfully for their owners.
Well, I think he's had a remarkable impact on Boise, on the state of Idaho. You know, he's added even more credibility to the University of Idaho and the engineering program. He's had an impact on other colleges, such as College of Idaho. Everything that he's been involved in, he's made an impact, and it's been for the good.
He brought together the Brits and the French, digging from 2 different sides of the channel, and brought those 2 very different cultures in terms of work ethic and everything else, brought them together to finish that project. And I think that's an important statement to something other than just the engineering aspect. The human resources aspect of that achievement are phenomenal.
So most people in this industry might want to work on one such project, but to be the project manager on 3 such projects is a remarkable achievement, and Jack Lemley did it. And he did it utilizing his roots and his values that he grew up with here in Idaho.
So Jack's got this big desk. Things are absolutely pristine in terms of the way that they're laid out. And here's this guy sitting in his pajamas behind that desk, chatting with me across the room there. I'm thinking, you know, this is the most bizarre damn thing I've ever had. I've been interviewed by somebody in his pajamas.
Jack's the source of the most famous phone call I ever received. I picked up the phone. An operator asked, "Is this John Miller?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Well, one moment, please. The Prime Minister of Great Britain is calling." So I waited. Onto the phone came this voice. It turned out to be his right-hand man, but he wanted to know what we thought of Jack because they were considering him to build the Olympic Center there in England for the upcoming Olympics, which they did pick him to do. And I said, "Well, I'm curious you're calling me." I said, "He just recently finished your English channel, and I would think you'd have your own impressions of him? And he said, well, we do. We think he's wonderful over here, but we just want to know what you folks think of him back home. I said, well, we think he's equally wonderful over here.